out of your season of singleness? Well, Utah's favorite dating counselor is here to share the ins and outs for dating this coming fall. Welcome back to the show, Loni.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.
Well, I'm excited to meet you and talk about all the things dating. So let's just start first with maybe some improvements to the dating trends. Have there been any, and what are those?
Yes. I'm so happy to tell you we are improving our dating. There are good trends.
The way you say that, I love it.
Good trends happening. Dating doesn't have to be a disaster anymore.
Well, what are some of these trends? Talk to me about that.
Well, we've moved into being more intuitive with our dating and not just listening to all the other voices and all the other people out there. And in one of those things that I'm seeing, people are doing more in-person events and they're interested in having more connections in in-person events. So that's been great.
Well, that seems so great because there's the online dating. I met my husband before the online dating, and so there's pros and cons to that. Obviously, that's really easy and it's very accessible, but these in-person meetings have to be so important because that's the way we connect.
Right, you can really get a feel for somebody and kind of get a sense of, do we vibe together or do we not? Whereas online dating can feel a little more static and you don't know.
We just talked about this on the show not too long ago about how ChatGPT, we're throwing things into that and people can now tell they're not telling the truth. And so how has that kind of affected the dating world?
I think people are just realizing that they need to be more savvy. They're not just automatically trusting like, oh, you're here, and so therefore everything you're telling me is true, or these texts I have to infer in this way. So they're using the artificial intelligence to help them gain that extra, kick over that I need to understand what this actually means.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you want to go into that date feeling confident and feeling comfortable, and then of course you get that like the next hour after you've met, like, does he like me? Does she like me? So kind of talk to me about what are the ins and outs when it comes to dating? Like when
after you're doing that like whole post-date group text with your friends and you're like, everyone's giving you tons of advice and you just get way in your head and freaked out, that's out. Get a couple of mentors. Get a couple of people that you trust, but you're not necessarily needing to be like inundated with everybody's feedback and advice anymore. People are really saying like, I need to trust how I date.
100%, because yes, your friends love the person you're dating, but their opinions don't always matter.
Right, and it's helpful. You want the crowd to like approve, but sometimes that can even be a deterrent because people are going to say, oh, he's to this or she's to that. And really, maybe that's great for you and they aren't aware of that.
Absolutely. What common mistakes should singles avoid to ensure that they're dating effectively?
So a common mistake that I'm seeing people do is they're not necessarily like showing up as themselves. So there's a new little phrase called imaginationships.
Okay.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
And it's where you're kind of having this relationship in your head. And so you're showing up maybe trying to figure out what is it that I think they want me to be.
Absolutely.
Right?
People overthink everything, especially dating, because when you're dating, you want to find that Mr. Perfect or Miss Perfect, and so you're overthinking everything. Well, how can we get out of a season of singleness then?
So we're getting ready for cuffing season. Okay, cuffing season in an unhealthy form says, let's just hook up and we're just going to, stay warm for the winter. But one of the best things I would love to see people do is to actually just be more intentional and like take a little bit longer to get to know somebody. And not just say like, oh, we're in or out really quickly. Just figure out how you date.
Okay, well that sounds like amazing tips. Well, where can everyone go for more information to get even more tips like that?
Oh, I'd love to have you. I'm at thedatingcounselor.com. I'm on social media at thedatingcounselor.
Well, Loni, thank you. It's so nice to meet you. And take her notes because Mr. Perfect and Miss Perfect is out there for you. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you.